in the big red stand. That is fairly packed as well. The old main stand in which we're seated with all the stanchions, which means we can't actually see the pitch that well, is pretty full too, and there's a good following come from the East Midlands as well. We're about to get underway. 5:30 for overseas telly, so if you're watching abroad, there are other games you could be watching, you know. Wrexham are playing, West Ham are playing Brentford. Absolute madness. And they still say it's the magic of the cup. Burton Albion in their all yellow strip, Grimsby Town. Black and white striped shirts, black shorts and red socks. And Terry Taylor gets us underway, and straight away John Brayford smashes the ball down the outside right channel. And anybody who had 8 seconds for the first throw-in the sweepstake, it's your lucky day. Aaron, how are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Good man.
How are you?
Yes, I'm all right.
Good.
I'm all right. I've been able to breathe easier in press boxes, but that's no concern of anybody who's listening. It's a bit tight. I think I was slimmer the last time I came here. Oshalaja just clips the ball forward towards Victor Adebayo, nods it down, but Grimsby back in possession straight away. Ball down the left-hand side, straight to John Brayford. Defender there could have left it. Tyler Onyango picks it up on the edge of the penalty area, holds on to possession and gives it to Johnny Smith. 2-3 yellow shirts to aim at inside the area. Smith crosses it in deep towards Bobby Camwer at the far post. It doesn't reach him, but he picks up possession. Good, strong start from Burton Albion in the opening couple of minutes here in Cleethorpes. Cameron Borthwick-Jackson plays it forward, but doesn't quite reach Bobby Camwer, and it's cleared into touch on the far side for a Burton Albion throw. So the goal away to our right, I can see if I sway.
He's given a free kick for handball, I think.
Oh, he has given a free kick. That's a good position as well, isn't it?
Very good.
Sort of 18 yards from the corner flag, a couple of yards in from that far touchline. I thought the touchline was there, but then I thought it must have been a white cable, because Terry Taylor did seem to pick the ball up inside the pitch, which is not ordinarily allowed, is it? It's a shame they can't send Jordan Amissa up, because he towers above everybody on this football field, even Tyler Onyango, and he's quite tall. He's in the penalty.
I think you do state that every
Absolutely.
game.
Well, it's
is that on the back of one of my references, was it?
No, I think
is that a bit of a... Are you mocking me?
No, I think it was one of my references that you mocked me for. Taylor with the free kick from the left-hand side then. Good-looking delivery, goes an awful long way. It's headed up in the air and out to the edge of the penalty area by a defender. Corian Darby gives it to Oshalaja, who's very close to the corner flag, and leaves it to go out because it's going to be a Burton Albion throw, and Tom Hamer goes forward to take it. Right-hand side, no more than 2 or 3 yards away from the corner flag. So as good as a corner. He hasn't flecked his pecs yet. Might not be as long as we'd hoped. The viewing, all I can see is a no smoking sign. Hamer then with this throw in from the right hand side, goes in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. It's headed out and then helped further downfield by Brendan Kiernan, and Darby plays it back, but trying to pick out Tom Hamer, he couldn't do so, and now Otis Khan has picked it up down the left-hand side for Grimsby. They're in Burton territory, in possession for the first time. They've swept the ball across to the right-hand side. Good ball that as well, but now they've gone back into their own half. Effect plays the ball forward onto the head of Borthwick-Jackson. He nods it down. Oshalaja, nice turn. No, it isn't. The referee's given a free kick. So that will be a free kick to Grimsby, 10 yards outside the penalty area on the right. 0-0. BBC Radio Derby, FM, AM and online, as well as on BBC Sounds.
A little bit of a harsh free kick to give against Burton Albion there by the referee. I thought Deji did well just to get just plant his body in front of his midfielder who's coming to press him, and we all know Deji Oshalaja, he's a physical beast, and I think the referee thought he was too overly physical at that time. So some Burton Albion defending will have to take place here.
Otis Khan has the ball at his feet. He's going to take this free kick from the right-hand side, right-footed, holds aloft his left arm and clips the ball into the penalty area. That goes a long way, but it's eventually hacked clear by Bobby Camwer. Back to Khan over on the far side from Clifton. Clifton takes over, and then he feeds it back to the halfway line. It's clipped up towards the edge of the Burton Albion penalty, and then a left-footed volley clearance from Cameron Borthwick-Jackson is horribly scuffed and goes out for a throw-in on the near side. It's not like watching a big screen television, this, is it? That's unbelievable, the restricted view. I hope everybody in this stand pays less than everywhere else, because the view isn't great. It's with Smith, and he goes to Mayer. No, he doesn't. He goes long, across to the far side, the right. Grimsby looking to attack, but Borthwick Jackson steps in and picks up possession, skips around one defender, and then with the outside of his left foot tries to release Bobby Cameron, but there was too much on it. And that cheer was for Dino Marmaria kicking something in the technical area. He wasn't happy with the pass. It was a good opportunity.
It was really lovely play from Borthwick Jackson, just stepping in from the left back position, faking to pass wide initially, then just chopping inside and making a bursting run in the centre of the pitch, but he just didn't really take too much care with his pass, what he tried to release Bobby Cameron with.
Richie Efete, I'm going to call him from now on. I'm going to change it. He's just put the ball into touch for Burton Albion, throw on the far side, and Tom Hamer's gone across to the left to take it. We can see Tom Hamer's reflection in the glass, which is in front of all those people still munching on the prawn sandwiches in the rooms of the stand on the far side of the ground here at Blundell Park. Grimsby Town playing Cleethorpes Town playing Grimsby. How's that work? Ball is flicked on towards the edge of the 6-yard box. There's defenders getting in the way. There's a shot from John Brayford that was blocked. He wants a handball. He also wants a foul on Deji Oshilaja, and neither of them were given. And back comes Johnny Smith to clean things up, tidy things up, and Darber gives it to Borthwick Jackson. Now Bobby Cameron comes in from that left touchline, plays a little ball into the edge of the penalty area. Boyejo gives it to Borthwick Jackson, and now Oshilaja over on the far side, gives it back to Borthwick Jackson, chance to cross, gives it back to Oshilaja, goes towards the byline, cuts inside the defender, clips it off the defender and behind for the first corner of the match, and it's gone to Burton Albion.
Really good patient play from Albion there. A couple of times I think Deji he did get his half a yard to put a cross in. He would have been in swinging with his right foot on the left wing, but good combination play between him and Borthwick Jackson, and same with Cam. He could have put the ball in, but I think they were a bit patient there, where there weren't enough bodies in the box, and in the end Deji tries to get at his fullback and wins a corner.
Both arms aloft from Terry Taylor, left hand side, corner whipped in towards the near post, headed up towards Oshilaja, nods it back towards the right hand side, picked up by John Brayford. Brayford's being forced towards this near touchline. The defender's done really well there as Niall Mayer, and he clears it downfield. Hamer is a little bit too tight to Brendan Kiernan, and they try to break Grimsby, but it's cut out by Terry Taylor. What fine form Taylor's been in this season after getting an extended run in the side. Gives it to Hamer, he slices that ball forward rather, and it bounces over the touchline on the near side for a Grimsby Town throw no more than 5 or 6 yards from their own corner flag on the left hand side. I wanted to get that Grimsby Town playing Cleethorpes Town playing Grimsby. I love that. Why would you just swap names? Just change your names.
Is it that easy?
Probably not. Ball thrown down this near touchline over Taylor, over Hamer. Taylor though leaves it for Ndaba, who clips it forward with his left foot. Victor Adebayo controls it nicely on his chest and finds Johnny Smith wide on the right hand side. Tries to cross it, blocked by Mayer, and out for another Burton Albion throw. It's been all Burton, I hesitate to say it, in the first 8 minutes, but it remains 0-0 at Blundell Park.
The opening few minutes, Fletch, could be what the game looks like for the rest of the game. It's Burton who are dominating possession. They're on the front foot to try and open up the Grimsby back line, but when Grimsby, when they have defended well, they've looked to break really quickly, haven't they, and play from left to right with that diagonal pass.
Hamer has the opportunity to throw it long. He has the opportunity to throw it short as well as Taylor comes to him. He decides to go long towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and the goalkeeper Crocombe comes and claims it just to the right of the post as we're looking on the dead ball line in his lilac goalkeeping outfit, and launches it across to the far side. It's well controlled over on that right hand side by Kiernan, but Burton have it back. Can't pick out Adebayo, but Oshilaja picks it up and feeds it to Bobby Cameron, left hand side. Cameron moving towards the penalty area now, one step over, tries to cross it, hits the defender Michi Efete, and goes out for a Burton Albion throw, and Tom Hamer's steps get another boost as he goes from right to left this time to take another potentially long throw. This time from the left-hand side. Brayford's gone forward and Darber has stayed back. Two other defensive-ish players are Cameron Borthwick-Jackson and Terry Taylor, but everybody else pretty much is inside the Grimsby Town penalty area away to our right-hand side, and he throws it short to Terry Taylor. Now it's with Borthwick-Jackson, a little flick round the corner from Heyman. Borthwick-Jackson can't regain possession. It's good ricochet though, because it's inside the penalty area, and Yango leaves it for Hamer. It's out of the box once more, but it's a chance for a cross from Cameron Borthwick-Jackson that once again hits the defender, and again it goes out for another Burton Albion throw. 10 gone, 0-0.
It's good purposeful play from Albion. They're keeping Grimsby on the back foot. They've tried to get at the fullbacks on so many occasions in the opening 10 minutes, and Grimsby have initially defended it really well, leading to Tom Hamer having a long throw opportunity, but it's just getting Grimsby pinned back in.
He's going to send this one into the penalty area towards Onyango. Flicks it, but it goes over the bar and it's behind for a goal kick. First time a yellow-shirted head has got on the end of a long throw. Dino Marmria bellowing out instructions in his very, very nice grey Burton Albion hoodie. Paul Hurst wrapped up against the cold. Although it was very mild when I arrived earlier on today, it is starting to drop the temperature here in northeast Lincolnshire, as you would expect in January. As Crocombe goes long downfield, goes over Terry Taylor's head. Otis can't bring it under control, and then Darber gives it to Borthwick-Jackson. He tries to skip around the man on the far side, Clifton, and eventually wins his side a throw in. Just about.
Yeah, I'm sure Dino wouldn't be happy with that. It's a goal kick where balls down the centre of the pitch have really troubled Burton Albion on a couple of occasions, even when they won away at Forest Green, where they didn't really cover themselves in any glory in that time when they were on head of the ball. So I'm sure I will always speak about missing Sam Hughes, because that's an area of real dominance for him, and he's going to be sorely missed for Albion while he's out injured.
Johnny Smith's intercepted a forward pass there from Grimsby. It's played forward by Hamer. Smith might capitalise on a loose bit of defending there at the back by Danny Amos, but he survived that, just about got his foot to the ball, and now it's been played all the way forward, and Jordan Namissa gets a rare touch. Good ball forward this time from Borthwick-Jackson, but it's cleared away by Grimsby. Corey and Darver with the header, and Yango with the overhead kick, but not particularly good from Corey and Darver. Burton have got it back now, though, on the halfway line. Forward it goes from Dejiosha Larger, and Johnny Smith's blowing up. He wanted the big diagonal, didn't come. He tried to pick out Bobby Camwer and couldn't. And the clearance is now at the feet of Tom Hamer, 10 yards inside his own half. Clips it forward to Tyler Onyango, brings it under control, moves across the field and plays the ball to Borthwick-Jackson. Borthwick-Jackson, I think he thought about having a shot there from 35 yards. He's given it to Camber, step over, goes to the byline, crosses it in deep. The keeper just about gets a hand to it and tips it onto the roof of the net and behind for a corner. That one was going to dip underneath the crossbar, I think.
Again, Fletcher, it's good play down Burton Albion's left. It's Cam Borthwick-Jackson stepping in. He's been really prominent in the attacks in these opening stages from that left back position. And he feigns to shoot. I wanted him to shoot, being a left back and seeing him in that area.
Corner's been taken. Taylor gets the ball back and then crosses it in deep. It's headed back into the 6-yard box there by John Brayford, and eventually cleared away for a throw-in on the far side. It did look like he was going to shoot,
as I was saying, I didn't want to talk too much because we had a good crossing opportunity with Terry there, but yeah, he feigned the shot, played it out wide, and Bobby Camero really positive again, trying to get at his fullback, and he delivers a lovely little chip ball, cross-come shot to the back stick, but Crocombe does really well to tip over.
He was at full stretch, was Crocombe. The throw's been taken short. Now it's with Borthwick-Jackson. It's on his right foot though, so it goes back to Ndaba, just on the edge of the centre circle. Lifts it forward towards John Brayford, right side of the penalty area. It comes off the defender last and out for another Burton Albion throw. Tom Hamer's barely had time to catch his breath from going across to the left when he's got to come across to the right. Wrexham have taken the lead at Coventry in one of the other 5:30 kickoffs. Wrexham going great guns in the National League. Sam Dolby with the goal at the Coventry Building Society Stadium. Tom Hamer with the throw from the right hand side. throws it into the penalty area towards Victor Adeboyejo. Just gets a little shove there from Mayer, and it was enough to put Adeboyejo off, and Crocombe goes long straight onto Ndaba's head. He nods it forward. Johnny Smith does well to react first to that one, gives it to Hamer, who launches it. The flick on there by Onyango finds Adeboyejo. Square ball to Desi Oshilaja, shoots from the edge of the penalty area, and the goalkeeper claims it was quite a weak shot in the end from Oshilaja, but a shot nonetheless.
Yeah, really good play. Johnny Smith coming back in from a high right wing position just to nip in front of his fullback, just to set Tom Hamer, who plays a lovely little clip ball into the feet of Victor Adeboyejo, and that's the area where Burton Albion really want to get him on the ball, and even more so if he holds it up and he plays a lovely pass inside. And Deji in that attacking midfield position, what he takes up so well, he just didn't get no purchase on his effort really, and straight down Crocombe's kind of throat. But again, good play from Albion.
Really neat build-up work. Crocombe goes long, looking for Kiernan. It goes beyond Kiernan. Hamer will turn nicely, and then fortunately puts the ball out for a Grimsby Town throw on the near side. Close-ish to halfway, I would have thought, by the time the ball eventually crossed the sideline. Lots of pointing going on, as you'd expect, from the two dugouts, the two technical areas. Strange old ground this, with four very much separate stands, not filled in at all. I can imagine if that wind is coming off the North Sea, which is behind us, it could get exceptionally unpleasant. Not too bad this evening though, and Yango tries to clear it, but it's picked up in midfield by Holohan. Holohan goes to his right to McAtee. McAtee switches the ball to the far side, and Clifton comes back in to Holohan, and he chips the ball into the penalty area with his right foot. It goes over the head of Danny Amos and behind for a Burton Albion goal kick. No alarms as yet for the Burton Albion defence. 16 minutes gone, but a couple of decent half efforts for the Brewers at the other end. Bobby Campbell with that cross that was tipped over the bar, and then Desi Oshilaja with what I'm sure he would acknowledge was a shot that was a little bit too weak and easy for Max Crocombe to collect.
That's the picture of the game, Fletch. That's how it's got to look for Burton Albion. They've done well to show their dominance in these opening stages of the game, but they've got to be concentrated and together, because Grimsby, on the back of their cup run so far this season, they've beat 2 League One teams, and obviously Albion don't want to be the third one, and they're going to be a threat on the counter-attack or with the odd set piece. So
they'll get chances.
Yeah, they will. They'll get the odd chance where Albion have got to be really alive and ready for that. That's more difficult when you're really dominating the game as well. That's when you're most kind of under that pressure to concede a goal.
Paulford Jackson gives the ball away. Brayford rescues him by winning it back, and now it's gone forward to Adeboyejo, right hand corner of the penalty area. Gives it to Johnny Smith wide on the right hand side. Tries to cross him with his right foot. Good sliding challenge comes in and puts the ball out for another Burton Albion throw, and forward goes John Brayford once again into the penalty area. Now we're talking to Sam Hughes about it was good having John Brayford back in the side, because there were now 2 targets, and the target now really Tyler Onyango to a degree, but it's always going to be John Brayford with his aerial presence inside the opposition box. Ball is thrown in by Hamer, and Onyango can't even breathe, he's being that closely marked. The ball is nodded down and dies on the surface, and almost caught Grimsby out. Taylor's back, but it's now 4-on-1. The ball is nodded forward. John McAtee's going clear down the left-hand side, crosses it in, and the ball dies again after it hits Tom Hamer and is cleared away downfield, and almost cleared into the path of Victor Adeboyejo. Just got a little bit open there, almost got caught out, Burton Albion. Grimsby have made an error though. Michi Ifete's put the ball into touch on the far side, and it's going to be a Burton Albion throw.
When you push that many men forward from a long throw or a corner, Fletch, as soon as that ball gets recycled to the edge of the box, if they've cleared it, the ball's got to go in, back in the box straight away. I think Campbell Jackson just let the ball bounce there. He was a bit unsure what he was going to do. He didn't make his mind up early, and that uncertainty gave Grimsby a great chance to counter-attack, and it was a 4v1 at one time.
Yes. Fortunately, McAtee was pushed wide by Tom Hamer, and as a result Grimsby couldn't profit. Wrexham are profiting. They've got 2 now at Coventry. 2-0 Wrexham lead. Brentford against West Ham and Luton against Wigan, the other 5:30 kickoffs, just like this one here at Blundell Park, goalless at the moment, approaching the 20-minute mark in all games that started at 5:30. Ball is thrown in on the far side to Tyler and Yango, who can't do anything about that. And then good work from Amissa, who comes, what, 35 yards out of his penalty area to clear the ball downfield. And there's a foul on Tom Hamer, and that'll be a free kick to Burton Albion, 5-6 yards inside their own half. Good starting position from Jordan Amissa.
It was really aggressive, a high starting position from Amissa, but even the speed to try and get to the ball, and he makes the clearance by the centre circle, Fletch, and I'm sure that will be very pleasing for Dino to see, because we spoke about the high line in the last few games, and obviously playing high, you want your team to press, but as well, if you want your goalkeeper to be in the vicinity to come and mop up, so I'm sure really Dino will be happy on the sight of that.
Really good starting position from Jordan Amissa. The free kick, incidentally, was taken by Terry Taylor, nodded forward by John Brayford, and behind for a goal kick. It's going to be taken by Max Crocombe to the right-hand side of his 6-yard box. Wigan have just taken the lead at Luton in the FA Cup. So the only 2 5:30 kickoffs without goals are here at Blundell Park and at the Community Stadium, where it's Brentford against West Ham. Ball is flicked on by Grimsby, away by Ndaba, across to the near side, the Burton right. There was a definite handball there, but the referee's not interested, and Johnny Smith's got it anyway, but unfortunately Tyler Nyango couldn't hold on to possession. Kieran Green comes away with it and wins his side a free kick. Probably 15 yards inside his own half, and Crocombe's going to come out to take this free kick, so we can expect it to go relatively long. Well, if it goes too long, might catch one or two men in black and white shirts out, because it's again a very high line from Burton Albion. They're a good 20 yards outside their penalty area as they line up. Now the free kick is sent forward. Hamer rises, gets his head to the ball, and Terry Taylor is there to complete the clearance under a bit of pressure from Danny Amos. The ball out on the near side for a Grimsby throw. This tight commentary position has got cramp in the hamstrings written all over it.
I mean, you did know it is past gas day, so if you needed to do that, even though I'm sat next to you,
that's very kind
it
of
might open up a little bit more room for you.
It gives me permission. Ball is played across to the right hand side. Harry Clifton can't hold on to possession, and Bobby Camwood comes away with it, raiding down the left hand side, chops inside, gives it to Osher. Now Tyler Nyango will feed it to this near side, and Johnny Smith just a little bit behind Smith. Smith though retrieves the ball, goes forward, cuts back onto the wing as though he's going to cross it with his right foot, dancing around on the spot. Smith still going, gives it back to Terry Taylor, now wide to Tom Hamer on the right hand side, back to Johnny Smith again, onside, crosses it in with his right foot, and it's straight to a man in black and white standing just near the penalty spot. And here comes Grimsby again down the right hand side. Harry Clifton with the opportunity to get forward. Brendan Kiernan is holding his left arm aloft. He wants the early cross, but Clifton holds on to it, still going forward, trying to get around the outside of Borthwick Jackson. It hits Borthwick Jackson, and it's behind for the first Grimsby corner of the match over on the far side there, right.
Again, it's a counter-attack from Grimsby, who got into a decent position in the right wing area, but it came from initially Burton Albion's patient play on their right wing, where in the end Johnny Smith delivers not a bad cross, but no one's really in that area. You're expecting Deji Oshilar just to come on rushing, just to try and get on the end of it, but he wasn't there this time.
You sort your microphone out again, because I think you've twisted. There we go, is that better?
I'm always twisted.
Oh, there you go. Well, you are, but that's much better.
I always twist it the other way so no one can hear me.
Yes, it was getting like that. Corner on the right hand side, I can smell popcorn. Corner on the right hand side to Grimsby, played into the edge of the 6-yard box. Hamer rises and gets it as far as the edge of the penalty area. Corian Darber with his left foot sends it up towards the halfway line. Clifton with a fairly straight ball, that's far too straight, bounces once and goes behind for a goal kick. Not the best delivery back into the penalty area from Harry Clifton, who is the right-sided of the midfield for Grimsby today. He's the man who's got to try and help Michi Ifete over on the far side cope with Bobby Camwood. Wouldn't wish that on anybody. 0-0, 23.5 minutes gone at Blundell Park in the third round of the FA Cup. Fourth round draw tomorrow, round 4-ish I understand, which is rather bizarre. Ball is out on the far side. It isn't out on the far side. It's kept in by Cam. Taylor gives it back to Ndaba. He's closed down by McAtee. It comes off McAtee last and goes out for a Burton Albion to throw on the far side. Whatever happened to the 12:30 on a Monday afternoon FA Cup draws when nobody could listen? They were great. Just a huddle round the transistor. Anyway, Borthwick Jackson.
That sounds fun.
All the games were in black and white. It was great. It was great. Ball thrown down that far touchline, and Clifton steps in and clears the ball with his left foot downfield and straight into touch on the far side. Grimsby haven't shown an awful lot just yet. They've had one corner, they've had one reasonable opportunity with McAtee on the left-hand side. 4-on-1, but he couldn't pick a teammate out and couldn't get his shot away either. Flicked on the far side by Oshilaja. It's now in midfield. Nice little touch there from Otis Khan. Ball played forward towards Brendan Kiernan. Back there is Johnny Smith. The ball is played forward to Khan nicely by Danny Amos. Crosses the ball in and it's cleared on the half volley. Back into the edge of the penalty area by Borthwick Jackson. And then Bobby Campbell comes back and helps out his defence, but the ball is going to be crossed in by Clifton towards the near post. The first real work for Jordan the Misser to do. Does it really tidily at his near post and then just calms everybody down. Let's see how far he kicks this. Watch this. No, I thought he was going to throw it to the near side, but he's decided against it. He was launching the ball to the edge of the opposition penalty area out of his hands, but he's going to put this one on the floor. I'm surprised he can kick it a long way at 6'6". That off the floor's gone a fair old distance towards Victor Adeboyejo. Absolutely, he can kick it a mile. And Ndaba sweeping the ball across to the near side. It's headed away there by Danny Amos, only as far as Tom Hamer. Well, he slipped, and there was a bit of a hand on him from Otis Khan, and that was enough for the referee to give the free kick. I'm not sure there was much in that, to be brutally honest.
I think Tom will know he's got away with one there, because he probably knows he probably should have headed it. With the onrushing Khan and pitch running out, he probably should have just headed it just back into the corner, just to keep Grimsby under pressure, where I suppose he's done better in winning the free kick.
Free kick's taken. Taylor gets the ball back from Borthwick Jackson and gives it back to him, and Borthwick Jackson clips it to the right hand side and misses Johnny Smith by about 10 yards. Hence the cheers, and it's out for a Grimsby Town throw-in. Wigan leading at Luton, Wrexham 2 up at Coventry, 0-0 between Brentford and West Ham. They're the other 3 FA Cup ties kicking off at 5:30. There's a 6 o'clock as well between Sheffield Wednesday and Newcastle, the Chris Waddle derby. And then at the traditional 8 o'clock on a Saturday night slot, it's Liverpool, the reigning FA Cup holders, taking on Wolves at Anfield. It's a game I believe you can see on... no, you can't, so I'm not mentioning it. You can see it on television, but not on the BBC. So you know where it is. Mayor with the throw-in.
You be careful, mate.
No. I went in yesterday to my usual pizza place as Mayor throws the ball down this near touchline. I'll finish this story at some point. A misplaced pass from Deji Oshilaja, and here's an opportunity for Otis Khan down the left-hand side. Khan just checks back onto his right foot, allowing Terry Taylor to get a foot in. Khan holds on to possession though. Plays it across to Michi Afete. He feeds it further right to Clifton, then gets it back. And then weighs up his options. Clifton is the main one. He cuts in from that far touchline, clips the ball forward over the top. Offside flag goes up against Brendan Kiernan, and he can't score anyway. And it'll be a free kick to Burton Albion. So I went in to get my usual Friday night tea. And the young lad in there, we chat all the time. He knows what I do. And he said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" So I'm at Grimsby. 5:30 kickoff for overseas telly. And he looked at me and he said, "Are you commentating in a foreign language?" I said, no, I can barely do it in English.
I think he thought,
yeah,
is anyone from a different country going to be able to understand what you're saying?
Is anybody from this country? The free kick was taken long by Misser and has gone out for a throw-in over on the far side, quite close to the right-hand corner flag for Grimsby. And it will be taken by Fate over on that far side. It seems to slip out of his grasp rather than...
It's a very weird throwing style.
Isn't it?
That needs to be looked at. A little bit like Muralifer and his slinger.
Steady. Here's Johnny Smith, right-hand side of the penalty area, goes onto his left foot on the edge of the D, shoots it, hits a defender, might fall here for Victor Adebayo, turns to face the goal. The Grimsby players can't get it away, and eventually they clear it out of the penalty area to Otis Khan, who will try to turn and clear it away, and he does so, but only as far as Borthwick Jackson. He gives it back to Bobby Camworth. That was a real opportunity for the Brewers, but Adebayo couldn't get the ball out of his feet. Here's Camworth, step over, stands on the ball, and gives it back to Grimsby Town. That was a little unfortunate as well for Bobby Camworth, and Grimsby have gone back to Crocombe. Crocombe with his left foot has smashed it over the roof of this main stand. Has it gone all the way, or is it going to come back? It's quite deep, the roof, looking at it. It's a lot of metal work there, I know that. So again, another opportunity for Burton Albion that they couldn't quite manage to fashion an opening, but it will come surely. Hamer with the throw in on the right-hand side. Throws the ball over the top, looking for Tyler Onyango, who's clearly being held there, but the referee says play on, and there's a turn there by John McAtee with the outside of his right foot. He plays it forward to Kiernan. Kiernan trying to go to the byline. He's being watched there by Corian Darber, and the shot eventually comes in with his right foot and is easily dealt with at his near post by Jordan Amissa.
Yeah, Burton have got to be a little bit careful there. Territorially wise, they are having it really high into Grimsby's half, but I spoke about before, you know, that concentration of everyone being in the right position, Fletch, when you're attacking, because Grimsby are just going to get a little bit more belief as the game goes on, because they're defending well. They're in a defensive mentality at the minute because they've been on the back foot for so long. Burton's three midfielders were past the ball then, and one pass can just take all three of them out of it, and I'm sure, especially as a defender and playing there before, that's when you feel all at sea there. It feels like the red arrows when people are just running at you with more numbers.
What a crude challenge on Bobby Camworth on the far side has resulted in a Burton Albion free kick, and a talking to for Harry Clifton from our referee, who was Charles Breakspear this evening in the FA Cup. Still haven't found out if he's any relation to Nicholas Breakspear, the 12th century Adrian IV, the only English-born pope. It's got to be. It's an unusual name, isn't it, Breakspear? Anyway,
I was thinking more William
Breakspear, yes.
Yeah,
I studied him at school as well. Oh dear. Maths until you're 18. The free kick is taken by Terry Taylor towards the edge of the penalty area. Desjos Shalaja rises with his shoulders, his hands rather, not his shoulders, his hands on Niall Mayor's shoulders, and the referee gives Grimsby Town a free kick.
Yeah, I think Deji thought he was at the beach there. Now we're in this neck of the woods, aboard in a donkey there, where he was climbing, wasn't he?
Just a bit. There's a little bit of sand on the pitch there, isn't it? It's quite heavy and cutting up away to our right.
Apologies to the Grimsby player who, you are not a donkey if any of your
Niall
family
Mayor
are
it was.
listening
What
to
are you
this.
saying about him? That's harsh, that. There's that smell of popcorn again. Onyango heads in to touch on the near side for a Grimsby throw. The Grimsby man has stayed down. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I think he just fell awkwardly. No suspicion of any foul play from Tyler Onyango. Certainly not from me, and the referee's saying that the player doesn't need any attention, even though he's still down on his knees with his head planted firmly in the Blundell Park turf. I know he does need some attention, so we've just wasted 30 seconds of our lives. I think it's Danny Amos who's down. He certainly looks to be in some discomfort, and he's now going to have to leave the field as well. Big scoreboard on the far side, 33 minutes it's saying. Grimsby 0, Burton Albion 0. It looks to be Danny Amos's right ankle that's the problem. The referee now is quite keen for him to leave the field. He is equally keen to stay on it. Mr. Breakspear has a bend down. He's got a very shiny head, hasn't he, the referee? Very shiny. It's going to be a throw-in on the near side, and they've got a towel, which is interesting. Grimsby. Niall Mayor is going to take what I imagine to be a long throw as Danny Amos limps off the field on this near side. That's the round of applause for him. I think he's going to be okay. And Mayor will take this long throw from the left-hand side, about 20 yards from the left-hand corner flag. Omar throws the ball in, and it goes an awful long way. A Grimsby player throws himself to the floor, and the ball goes behind for a goal kick without touching anybody. Not the greatest long throw. Not the greatest long throw we've seen in this match. But the first we've seen from Grimsby, so we now know that Niall Maher's got a long throw. Burton will be keen not to give away throw-ins, you would expect, anywhere within range.
Yeah, definitely. And what I did want to mention today, Fletch, was especially with my affinity with Burton Albion, it's great to see kind of 3 academy products in the squad or on the pitch involved in today's FA Cup tie. Obviously John Brayford's one of them, and we don't need to go into too much detail about kind of what he's done during his career, but obviously very proud of, I'm sure, Burton Albion, the chairman, and people who've worked with John over the years, to see kind of what he's done, the hundreds of games and the levels he's played at. He's a legend for the club. And also more recently, Kieran Gilligan, who's back to fitness and he's part of the matchday squad. He's on the bench today. But the one I wanted to talk about was William Tayman. He's a first-year scholar. He's not even signed kind of professional forms or anything. He's been in and around the first team in the last few weeks. He's done well in sessions. I went to watch him yesterday against Grimsby up at St George's Park in a league tie. They beat Grimsby's under-18s 4-0. So he looks very cool and calm and collective, but when he had to defend, really aggressive. So it's lovely to see a young boy from our academy on the bench in such a game. Absolutely.
No, really good to see the youngsters being given their chance. Corian Darber has just put the ball on the roof of the stand on the far side of the ground. It's got a lip on the roof and the ball has stayed up there. It'll have to be fetched down at some point. I wouldn't like to be the person who has to...
That could be the winner of the Aaron Webster Challenge, of kicking the ball out of every away stadium. I always try to, and that's probably one of the highest stands I've seen it happen to.
Good ball down the left-hand side, looking for Victor Adebayojo. We'll come back to that in a moment as Adebayojo gets onto his right foot, moves infield, and then waits for a bit more support to arrive, but he's being pushed back and eventually has to go to Terry Taylor. He finds Corian Darber, and Burton will start again inside their own half with John Brayford. Yeah, if I was going to pick a stand to clear, that isn't the stand I'd pick. It's a 2-tier job, and the top tier is very, very large indeed. It's got television cameras on a gantry hanging underneath the roof, and the matchday ball on top of the roof. Hamer throws the ball in from this near side, and Yango can't bring it under control because there was a lot of pressure on him there. And Grimsby get it back momentarily. Tom Hamer snapping into the challenge, and the ball eventually goes out for a throw in. Brendan Kiernan, the man who both Hamer and Brayford were trying to battle with there. It's a sort of moral victory for Kiernan as he wins the throw in. Niall Maher in no particular hurry to take it, in all honesty, because he gets one of his teammates to go and fetch the ball for him, Andrew Smith, the centre, his fellow centre back. And Maher throws it down this near touchline, cleared away by Hamer up towards Adebayojo on the halfway line. Johnny Smith takes over. Adebayojo stays down, and that's bad, holding his right ankle, and he got a clout there just as he tried to lay the ball off for Johnny Smith, and it's not a good sign to see Victor Adebayojo on the floor. He seldom stays down. It's okay though. The referee says he doesn't need any treatment, and therefore he won't be required to go off. Of course, he was off for 15 minutes at Morecambe on New Year's Day, having his chin stitched after the glue failed. The ball's actually gone out for a Burton Albion throw, and Tom Hamer's found a towel. Drops it on the floor. I'm not sure that's a good idea. It's quite damp in these parts. It has been raining today. Hamer then to launch the ball into the Grimsby penalty area. Does launch it in. Flicked on there by Deji Oshilaja, but cleared away by Grimsby over to the far side. Good work from Corian Darber, gets across there. Brendan Kiernan was lurking. He puts it out for a Grimsby throw on the far side. And they want to pinch 5 or 6 yards, and the referee won't let them. Quite right too. No yellow cards yet. Coventry pulled a goal back. It's Coventry 1, Wrexham 2 in the FA Cup. Here's Ifete. He's fouled by a combination of Deji Oshilaja and Victor Onyango. That's two fairly large units. Tried to squeeze in between the two of them, they didn't allow it.
Yeah, you won't want to be in a sandwich between them two.
No. They're underway as well at Hillsborough, where Sheffield Wednesday are taking on Newcastle in a 6 o'clock start. There's Grimsby with McAtee playing the ball into the air. It takes a couple of ricochets and it's over the bar. Two different players got touches on that one before the ball eventually ends up in the Burton Albion fans behind the goal away to our left-hand side. And that, just for a split second, was a moment of panic for Burton Albion. I think it was Mayer who got the last touch over the top.
Yeah, I think kindly for Burton, it actually hit Mayer on the way to the Burton Albion goal, where I'm sure Amisa would have been under some pressure and would have had to get the ball out of the net. So kindly for Burton, it flew over the bar, but they've got to be a little bit more concentrated in that situation. Even from Grimsby taking the quick free kick, and they've got to be alert, ready to go and press, rather than just set for a ball, waiting and expecting it to come into the box first time.
Desjoshalaj is giving the ball away now. Corian Daba tries to repeat his ball on the roof. Can't quite do so. Bobby Cameron's dispossessed on the far side, played forward, and Daba, outstretched right foot, plays it back into Grimsby territory. Taylor will nod it back towards his own goal. Brayford nods it forward. Victor Boyejo just threatened to get in front of the defender there, but couldn't. And here's an opportunity on the left-hand side for Brendan Kiernan. Sliding challenge from Hamer doesn't stop him. Kiernan crosses it in with his left foot. It's hooked away by Terry Taylor. Straight to Johnny Smith, who plays a neat little ball round the corner. And Tyler and Yango's closed down as he tries to clear it away. And it'll be a Burton Albion throw.
Yeah, any time Grimsby get a second ball or it falls to them in the middle of the pitch, they've got Kiernan up front, and he looks like a willing runner. He looks sharp. He's not come to feet yet. He's always trying to play in between defenders, and that's just been a little bit of an outlet for Grimsby in this game, just to take the pressure off. They've had to do so much defending, so he looks like an important player for them, just to relieve a bit of pressure and give the defenders a little breather.
Excellent little run there by Terry Taylor. He eventually ran into Otis Khan, and the ball has been cleared downfield. It's a Burton Albion throw in. 4 minutes plus stoppage time left to play at the end of a goalless first half, in which Burton have dominated. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Certainly the possession stats don't really suggest it's as much of a domination as the Brewers. Both sides, it says here, have had one shot on target. Burton have had a couple of corners, and that's it. 55% possession to the Brewers. I'd say it was a lot more than that, certainly in dangerous areas.
Yeah, I think territorially Burton have dominated.
Tom Hamer goes as far as the referee will allow him before throwing it into Terry Taylor. He volleys it into the Grimsby half. It comes straight back to him, and he lifts it forward again, this time with his left foot. Ball brought under control by Clifton over on the far side. Camwa snaps in at him, so the ball that's played forward is easy for Ndaba to clear it away. There's another opportunity to head it, this time up towards the halfway line, and that's excellent work on the far side by Camwa to pick up possession, and he's eventually tackled by Clifton, and it's a Burton Albion throw. Bobby Camwa, when he gets the ball, he looks lively. It certainly has looked lively this evening.
Yeah, he has, and in them close proximity positions where he's got bodies around him, he shows really good feet, and just a lovely little nutmeg there. Just couldn't get away from his second defender.
Sorry, Aaron.
I'm sorry, Fletch.
No, I'm sorry. He's thrown it into Camera on the left-hand side. He's got two defenders in front of him. Another step over. Tries to clip it infield. Does so. Oshalaj is there. Referee says that's a foul by Deji Oshalaj. It is Deji, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Deji Oshalaj. The lights are good, but not that good. He's a long way away, and he, almost like a small child having a tantrum, starts jumping up and down on the spot, complaining that wasn't a foul. I mean, it was difficult for us to tell. Certainly the defender hit the floor. Colin will give you all the day's scores, I'm sure, at half-time in the FA Cup and in League One. Another goal for Kane Hemmings today in League Two, as Victor Nyango pulls back Kieran Green, and Grimsby have another free kick, and Tyler Nyango is going to be spoken to by Mr. Breaksby. Shakes his head, says don't do that again.
Did you do that on purpose? Mr. Breaksby shakes his head.
No, I didn't.
Was that was good.
Clever, though, wasn't it?
That was good.
Yeah.
If you meant it, that
should have said
good.
yes. I didn't.
Keith Gilroy's messaged me, he's laughing.
Oh, is he? Oh,
yeah, like you twisting my mic.
It's got to be done. It's got to be done, Keith. It's got to be done. We all want to hear what Aaron's got to say. Most of the time, anyway. Free kick is taken short. McAtee lifts it into the penalty area. And Yango's there. Falls for a player at the far post. That was Niall Mayer, and a great block. And Burton don't even concede the throw in either, the corner either. It's gone out for a throw in.
What a block from Tyler and Yango. Them limbs came to Burton Albion's rescue at this time. Again, it's a central free kick for Grimsby, and again they take it short, and they just take it off the line, Fletch, where a central free kick's difficult to deliver good quality. So they just play to the side so they get a better angle to actually deliver into the box. And it's a lovely in-swinging ball from the inside left channel to the back post, but Tyler and Yango, great defending.
It was a corner, not a throw, and the ball's in, and it's bouncing around on the edge of the Burton Albion 6-yard box. Eventually Yango clears it up towards halfway and into touch on the far side for a Grimsby Town throw in. So a block by Tyler and Yango, and that couple of chances on the break. Just 1 minute to be added at the end of the first half. Seems a little stingy. There have been 2 players down. I'm sure they were down for more than 30 seconds apiece, but 1 minute of added time at the end of a so far goalless first half here at Blundell Park. Long throw down that far touchline by Ifete. He's headed back to him, and now he goes forward once again to McAtee. Little clip ball forward by Holohan, and Darber's got to be careful there, and is, as he hooks the ball out towards the far side. It's back-headed by Oshalaja into touch for another Grimsby Town throw in, which has already been taken to Holohan. He crosses it in deep. There's a header at the far post. It's straight up in the air from Danny Amos, but Grimsby hold on to possession. Back with Amos on the left-hand side. Clips it forward, looking for the run of Otis Khan. It's cleared away by Tom Hamer, but not particularly successfully. And then as Amos tries to bring it under control with his left foot, it bounces off his foot and into touch, and the referee says we might as well call it a halt here and now. So a couple of early chances for the Brewers. Bobby Cameron with that cross from the left-hand side that almost caught out Max Crocombe. He tipped the ball over the bar and onto the roof of the net. Des Yoshilage had a shot from 18 yards that was a little bit too weak to trouble the Grimsby goalkeeper, and poor old Victor Adebayejo couldn't get the ball out of his feet. 8 yards from goal, and eventually Grimsby managed to clear. The home side have had a couple of chances on the break, and Tyler and Yango's block close to half-time, meaning at half-time it is goalless, Aaron, but decent from Burton. All that's lacking at the moment really is that goal.
Yeah, it's been a decent performance, fairly dominant by Burton Albion. I think Grimsby had done well to relieve that pressure from the opening half hour, where the last 15 minutes the game's just petered out a little bit. Grimsby been able to get up the pitch a little bit higher and cause Burton Albion a couple of problems from their own kind of set pieces and ingenuity in them areas. But I'm sure Dino will be happy with the first half an hour. It's just one thing with that dominance, they've got to try and fashion more chances on goal. Yeah. They've got to try and test Grocum a little bit more. When they was in that dominant period where he's only had to really make one relative save, and that was from, could we say it's a cross from Bobby Campbell, not even a shooting opportunity. So just for all the dominance, they've got to get more shots on goal.
It's not going to get any easier in the second half. The rain has started to fall quite heavily here at Blundell Park. Burton have been on top but couldn't find a way through, and only in Grimsby would you see a non-playing member of the playing staff signing a blow-up fish for a supporter at half-time. At the break, it's Grimsby 0, Burton Albion 0.
Oh, you have all the best stories, Dave Fletcher. That's all I can say. 18 minutes past 6. Good evening from Colin Gibson. Sports Scene on this Saturday evening. Goalless then in that FA Cup third round tie, first half. Grimsby 0, Burton Albion 0. Other 5:30 games, all square between Brentford and West Ham United, 0-0. Wrexham of non-league fame, of course, leading 2-1 at Coventry City. Coventry put Derby out, of course, a year ago. Luton 0, Wigan Athletic 1, game just approaching half-time at Kenilworth Road. And 18 minutes gone at Hillsborough, where it's Sheffield Wednesday 0, Newcastle United 0. The other big game of the evening is the 8 o'clock start for Liverpool, the holders of the FA Cup. They're home to Wolves in that 8 o'clock start. The main upset of the day came at Bloomfield Road and certainly put a smile on our face. It finished Blackpool 4, Nottingham Forest 1. Yeah, I'll just repeat that. Blackpool 4, Nottingham Forest 1 in the third round of the FA Cup. I'll give you all the results and latest in a few minutes' time. So Derby play their third round tie tomorrow lunchtime against Barnsley at Pride Park. Both clubs pushing for promotion, with the Rams currently a point and 2 places ahead of the Tykes in the League One table. Just a reminder, Derby 15 games unbeaten. Assistant head coach Richie Barker believes the cup tie is an opportunity to check their progress against fellow top six opponents.
Look, the FA Cup's important, but if we have to convince them it's a league game, then we'll convince them it's a league game. Whatever it takes for them to have the right mentality to go into this game and win it. Obviously, the bigger picture of it is it's an opportunity for us to test ourselves against another top 6 team and find out really where are we. And like I say, I think the last dozen games or so we've played Portsmouth, Sheffield Wednesday, and Bolton, who were all sort of top 6 teams when we played them, and we've managed to keep a clean sheet. Unfortunately, we haven't won any of them. We've drawn them all. But it will give us another opportunity to find out where we are. But most importantly is the opportunity for us to continue with a winning mindset. And that's one of the things that we've talked about right from day one. Yes, we have a process of how we want to win the game. But one of the things that we've talked about is, look, don't accept second best. And we're trying to win every game. And this is just another opportunity.
Derby's assistant head coach Richie Barker. 12:30 kickoff at Pride Park. Derby against Barnsley. BBC Radio Derby live on air from Pride Park Stadium with Dom and the gang from 11:30. Now, I said at the start of the programme, do you remember what happened 40 years ago tomorrow? Relegation threatened second division Derby County came up against their great rivals in the third round of the club. Cloughy and co turned up at the baseball ground expecting a comfortable win for Forest. Archie Gemmell and Andy Hill had other ideas.
And it's Derby with a free kick. 20 yards from the Forest goal and plumb in the middle of it. Archie Gemmell is there. Dave Swindlehurst is there. 5 Forest men in the wall. And George Foster of Derby there too. Swindlehurst runs. Gemmell curls. It's there! Oh, what a goal by Archie Gemmell. Derby County are in the lead. And the fans are all over the pitch. "17 minutes of the second half gone, and a goal, a classic in its simplicity. Little Kevin Wilson was fouled by Willie Young. The free kick was taken. Swindlehurst ran over it. Gemmell came up, curled it with his right foot. Sutton was all at sea. Derby 1, Forest 0. Forest get things moving once more. Throw in by Swain. Taken quickly there. Eventually cleared. Up it goes to Andy Hill, but it's now found Willie Young. They're still in the Derby half. Still Forest are pressing forward. But it's Derby in the person of Andy Hill who came away with it. And out it goes to Brolly. Brolly making ground up the right. Derby on the attack now. Brolly has Hill outside him. Brolly for Hill. Hill in there. 2-0! That is that from the baseball ground. Derby County are through.
A fabulous FA Cup day for Derby County. 40 years ago tomorrow, that game, when Peter Taylor, of course, was in charge of Derby, just to add to the intrigue with Cloughy, his old boss, on the other side, and Forest sent packing in that tie. Derby having quite a reasonable run in the Cup competition that season, eventually, I think, losing out, to Manchester United. But yeah, it was a great afternoon. I actually did my first work for Radio Derby's sports scene that afternoon. I was given the job of going along and chatting to Derby fans in the paddock just in front of where the teams used to come out. And that was pretty much my debut on BBC Radio Derby 40 years ago. Derby County 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Hope tomorrow's game at Pride Park is equally as exciting for the Rams. 12:30 start for Derby, 11:30 start for BBC Radio Derby. And of course, it's on FM, AM, DAB, and also on the BBC Sounds app. And by the way, somebody's contacted us to say, how do you get to listen to it on the BBC Sounds? Well, if you've downloaded the app, just find Radio Derby and then click on it. I did check it just a little while ago to make sure that it was working. So, yeah, if you want to listen to it on the BBC Sounds app, just if you got the app, obviously, on your phone or whatever you might listen to it on, and then just search for Radio Derby and click play. And Dave Fletcher and Aaron Webster will bring you the second half, goalless at Blundell Park at the interval in the FA Cup third round tie between Grimsby Town and Burton Albion. Quite a lot of non-league football taking place this afternoon. Josh Wing was dispatched to Gresley Rovers against Coleshill Town, so let's get his thoughts on that, plus the rest of the day's local results.
It's full time here at the Moat Ground, and it's a huge win for Gresley, 1-0 against Coleshill on a very wet and cold Moat Ground. A penalty converted by James Spruce in the second half was the only goal of the game. The second half was strong from the Moatmen. They stuck to their game plan and managed to see out the victory against a side that was 10 positions above them before kick-off. Coleshill go home with not a lot to cheer about, to be honest. Very few chances in the game overall, but they did have some bright spells and plenty of yellow cards, plenty of rain in this one as well, but it finishes 1-0 to Gresley. And their attention now will turn to Belper United in the Cup here on Tuesday. Elsewhere in the National League North, Buxton lost away to Curzon Ashton 2-1 there. Alfreton managed to get a goal late on in their game against Farsley Celtic. They win 1-0. In the MPL Premier Division, Warrington Town beat Belper 3-1. Matlock Town were down in the second half, but they managed to pull it back against Morpeth Town. It finished 2-2 in that one. In the Southern League Premier Central, St Ives Town beat Mickleover by 2-0, and Ilkeston managed to win 3-1 against AFC Rushden and Diamonds in the Southern League Premier Central as well. And the other team that we've not mentioned is Long Eaton United. Well, their game in the MPL East Division 1 was called off away to Grantham due to a waterlogged pitch.
Josh Wing reporting for BBC Radio Derby Sport. 26 minutes past 6 on this Saturday afternoon. 0-0 at Blundell Park at half-time between Grimsby Town and Burton Albion. Other half-times, Brentford 0, West Ham 0, Coventry 1, Wrexham 3. That's a surprising scoreline. Luton 1, Wigan 1. At Hillsborough, 25 gone between League One Sheffield Wednesday and Premier League Newcastle United. It is goalless. Right, the other results from earlier on today. Crystal Palace 1, Southampton 2. Forest Green against Birmingham, match postponed, waterlogged pitch. Gillingham 0, Leicester 1. Preston 3, Huddersfield 1. Reading 2, Watford 0. Blackpool 4, Nottingham Forest 1. Boreham Wood 1, Accrington Stanley 1. Bournemouth 2, Burnley 4. Chesterfield 3, West Brom 3. Chesterfield was so close to pulling off such an upset that would have been, but West Brom equalising in the 3rd minute of added time. Fleetwood 2, Queen's Park Rangers 1. Hull City 0, Fulham 2. Ipswich 4, Rotherham 1. Middlesbrough 1, Brighton 5. Millwall 0, Sheffield United 2. And Shrewsbury 1, Sunderland 2. One other scoreline from earlier on today. Tottenham Hotspur beating Portsmouth by 1-0. Another goal from the England captain.
Kane has just curled it into the right-hand corner of the net, and Tottenham have their lead, and that's why he wants to play Harry Kane. 2-6-5, one behind Jimmy Greaves.
It was a tough game. Obviously, we was clear favourites, and probably people expected it to be a bigger scoreline. But credit to them, they stayed compact and they made it difficult, and it was just tough. Even when we got the goal, we thought it'd open up a bit, but they done well to kind of stop us getting that second one. So overall, good to get through to the next round. That's the main objective. And then see who we get next.
Yeah, they hung in the game well, didn't they? Restricting goal-scoring opportunities, not very many of them during the game, not clear-cut chances anyway. Was patience key today? There wasn't much for you in that first half.
Yeah, I think so. I think we said at half-time just to maybe put a couple more players further forward, the midfielders, maybe getting higher up the pitch because there was no real threat in behind from them. So we've done that, and then obviously we got the goal at a good time. But yeah, still room for improvement for sure. But overall, we got through, which is the most important.
Talk me through the goal from your point of view. It looked like you only had one thing on your mind.
Yeah, no, I wanted to get on the ball more, so I dropped into that kind of space there and played a nice 1-2 with Sessi. And then, just caught it really nice. Kind of the space opened up, and it was nice to see it hit the net.
Number 2-6-5 for Tottenham, as I'm sure you're more than well aware, just the one behind Jimmy Greaves now. And you scored that goal on exactly the same day of the year that he scored his 265th. Is that whole record in your mind, or do you try to just ignore it because you know that you'll get there at some point?
Yeah, I try to not think about it. Sometimes I feel like if you think too much to try and achieve something, it almost goes the other way. So obviously I feel in good form, I feel fit, and we've got plenty of games coming up. So I just got to go into each game trying to help the team. That's always been my mindset, and hopefully the goals will come.
Tottenham's Harry Kane scoring his 265th goal. Wow, what a striker. We won't mention the penalty. 6:30 on BBC Radio Derby. Tottenham beating Portsmouth, the FA Cup winners. Was that around about 2010 when Harry was in charge of them? Wow, a long time ago. BBC Radio Derby then with you. A reminder, Brentford 0, West Ham 0, Coventry 1, Wrexham 3, Luton 1, Wigan 1. These are all half-times in 5:30 kickoffs in the FA Cup. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Newcastle United 0, coming up to the half-hour mark there. Waiting for the players to come back out at Blundell Park. Let's return to Cleethorpes. I'm bringing our match commentator, Dave Fletcher. It didn't sound like a thriller on that first 45, but I guess the key thing is, having got thumped on New Year's Day, that Burton did show a reaction.
Yeah, absolutely. They've dominated the game. I think I said possession was 55-45 according to the app that I look at, and it felt much better than that as far as Burton were concerned. They had the possession in really dangerous areas, whereas Grimsby didn't, and they had a couple of chances on the break, and that effort really close to half-time that was well blocked by Tyler and Nyanga. But as Aaron said just before we handed back to you at the end of the first half, as Grimsby come out, they've got to start creating some actual clear-cut chances for any one of the front men, whether it be Bobby Cameron, Johnny Smith, Victor Adeboyeja, to actually get a shot on goal, because so far in this time, Max Crocombe, he hasn't had an awful lot to do. He hasn't had to make any spectacular saves or anything like that, which is slightly disappointing. But yeah, a good first half from the Brewers. The only thing, as I said, that is missing is a goal, and hopefully they can rectify that in the second half. You should have seen it. At half-time, Colin. There were all the substitutes from both sides were going through warm-ups and stuff, and it looked like
just played a game.
Well, yes, it looked like they were going to break out into another game of football at half-time. It was absolutely remarkable. Mustafa Carriol is coming onto the field in place of Tyler and Nyango, incidentally. So a change for the Brewers at half-time. Mustafa Carriol, the winger, who got a sort of few minutes, didn't he, at Morecambe, and did little bits. Well, he's got a full 45 minutes to impress.
9 substitutes. As Ian Hall used to say on BBC Radio Derby, more and more about less and less. Don't get me started. Second half commentary then on the FA Cup third round tie here on BBC Radio Derby, AM, FM, and on the BBC Sports website and on BBC Sounds from Aaron Fletcher. I'm mixing you up now. Aaron Webster and Dave Fletcher. And if he's bought a pie, Dave, you can sling him out the ground.
Thank you very much, Colin Dawes, for that return to Blundell Park. Colin will be back with us at full time, and we'll get reaction, of course, from Burton Albion's manager, Dino Marmria. They've just conceded a free kick actually early in the second half, a foul on Green, 15 yards outside the penalty area on the right-hand side. So they've got a bit of defending to do first up as the rain continues to fall here. The slight change in shape, because Victor Nyango clearly wasn't playing as a winger, and Mustafa Carriol will be. So we'll have a look and see how that works in the second half. But first of all, some defending to do. We'll bring Aaron in a moment. Free kick will be taken on this near side by Otis Khan. Right hand side, yard in from the right hand touchline. He hasn't held either of his arms aloft yet, so he can't even be close to taking it. There's plenty of players on the edge of the penalty area waiting for the delivery. Plenty of Burton defenders back. In fact, everybody's back. Left arm raised, he's ready, and he clips the ball into the penalty spot. A Grimsby player actually stands on it. The ball is cleared as far as the edge of the area. The shot comes in and it hits John Brayford. There's a decent looking shot as well from Holohan, and eventually Burton Albion clear it away, but that's just going to give Grimsby a little bit of encouragement.
Yeah, it is, Fletch, and I was just about to kind of say I can't wait to see Mustafa Carriol's introduction, because in the past few games. He's just played little cameo roles, where now he's got 45 minutes to impress, but it was Mustafa who's actually given the free kick away, and there's a beautifully delivered ball in by Otis Khan. A bit of pinball in there, but Albion did manage to defend it, not convincingly, but they kept it at bay.
Well, the throw-in is coming long from the far side, and it's been headed behind by Tom Hamer for a corner to Grimsby now. So lots of pressure from the home side in the early stages of the second half. 2 minutes gone, still 0-0 at Blundell Park. Ball is whipped in from the left-hand side. The keeper's there and might have caught it, but punches it instead, and it comes out to this near side. It comes off the Grimsby. Comes off Mustafa Carriol, according to the linesman. I thought it might have come off Clifton last, but no. So a long throw. So we've had a free kick, a long throw, a corner, and now another long throw for Burton to deal with in the opening couple of minutes or so of the second half.
Similar to how the first half started. This is how Burton Albion started, didn't they? They played the ball in the channel from the kick-off, and it opened up a few minutes of pressure on the Grimsby goal, and now Grimsby are doing the same to Albion.
There was a free kick given for a foul on Tom Hamer, who, as he headed away, was just pushed a little bit by a Grimsby man, and that will be a relieving free kick. Bobby Camwa's come across, Chris Beardsley giving him some extra instructions, and he trots off into the middle. He's going to play 4-4-2. It's like Camwa's gone central.
He might play just in behind Victor, obviously trying to join in with him to make it look like two up front at times, but another time supporting the midfield too and making it a free.
That ball's been smashed downfield, and Camwa almost picks it up on the edge of the Grimsby penalty area. Terry Taylor's dispossessed in midfield. That's not like him. And here come Grimsby again. Kiernan plays it forward to McAtee on the left-hand side. McAtee, faced by Tom Hamer, crosses it in with his right foot, headed out of the area by Corian Darber, but it'll be collected on the near side by Harry Clifton. Clifton turns and crosses it back in with his left foot. Again, it's Ndaba with the clearing header, falls for Green, goes for goal with his left foot, always rising. And it's behind and into the Grimsby fans, behind the goal away to our right-hand side. And it remains 0-0, almost 4 minutes gone.
Yeah, Grimsby still applying that pressure, doing well in the wide area, just to evade the challenge of Carriol this time, but Corey Ndaba comes up with a great headed clearance.
Wrexham 3-1 up at Coventry. Third Wrexham goal scored by Tom O'Connor, he of the scoring direct in 2 matches from a corner for Burton Albion, before moving on to Wrexham for a 6-figure fee. Hamer lifts the ball forward. It's not going to go into the penalty area, so it's a good ball forward. Afete clears it rather hurriedly, and now Carriol plays a little ball in field to Deji Oshilaji. Now Bobby Camwa tries to feed it forward to Adeboye Ejo. It's cleared as far as Oshilaji, and now Carriol goes for the byline. Can he get across him with his left foot? He can. It's going to be deep though. Johnny Smith won't get there, and it's cleared as far as Terry Taylor. Another poor pass from Terry Taylor. 2 poor bits of football from Terry Taylor inside the opening couple of minutes of the second half, but he's got the ball now and a chance to make amends, which he does by picking out Tom Hamer. Forward it goes to Johnny Smith, close to the byline on the right hand side, tries to clip it across, hits a defender onto his left foot, flips it in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, cleared away as far as Borthwick Jackson. He gets it back from Carriol and then gives it away. Ball forward by Grimsby though. Corian Darber is there to clear it back into Grimsby territory, and it's a throw into the home side.
That was a good spell by Albion, good wing play on both sides. Mustafa Carriol getting at his fullback to drive to the byline. Now the weather's picked up, Fletch. It looks like it's more windier, the ball's holding up, the rain's coming down, so the players are going to have to be a little bit more precise with their quality, especially when they're playing through the air.
Brayford forward to Johnny Smith, but it was fired at Smith really close to the touchline on the far side, and he couldn't bring the ball under control. It went out for a Grimsby throw already taken. They've gone back to Crocombe in the goal away to our left-hand side, and he brings it across to the near side. Carriol slides in, ball comes off Efete last, and there's sprinting forward goes Brendan Kiernan. He's offside, flag goes up, free kick to Burton Albion. You know, that rain is swirling around Blundell Park now. It's not been much of a fun walk back to the car, which is a good distance away.
That offside decision gives me another reason to moan at the rules, Fletch, where it came from a 50-50 challenge at the halfway line, but it kind of spurned into an area between Burton Albion's back line and the Misa, where it leaves that uncertainty. Because the flag doesn't go up quick, you can see Cameron Borthwick-Jackson and the kind of Grimsby attacker, they're both bursting and really sprinting over them first 5 or 10 yards, and I'm just waiting for a hamstring injury where it can be easily prevented.
Strong challenge by Terry Taylor in midfield means that Burton can get it back. Corian Darber almost slips. Now he's been forced to the near side, the touchline, gets it forward. Bobby Campbell brings it under control and pokes it through for Mustafa Carriol. Carriol going to the edge of the penalty area, still going Carriol, tries to cross it in, hits the defender and goes behind for a corner. And all that was described whilst looking through one of the non-playing members of the Grimsby Town squad who's just got back from his half-time sandwich.
I was just about to have a moan at them, but just remembered where I was.
Moan away. We might go viral again. 10 million people have heard you say that's offside before Morecambe got the 5th goal.
I could have said it a little bit more lively, but because it was the 5th goal.
Because it was offside.
He was offside.
Corner, left-hand side for the Brewers. Taylor takes, sends it in, headed away as far as the edge of the penalty area. Borthwick-Jackson feeds it back to Hamer, who has to turn and give it to his goalkeeper, Amissa, who launches it downfield, but into what appears to be a strengthening wind. And Grimsby have it back on the halfway line, just about, only just. The ball is with Afete on this near side. He goes over the halfway line. Grimsby's right, puts his foot on the ball as he stops his move forward. Then Holohan plays it back to him. He runs straight into Mustafa Carriol. Good work from Carriol, that, and it's cleared away downfield by Corian Darber. There's a miss kick by Terry Taylor. Then the ball goes out off the foot of Mustafa Carriol, and it's out for a Grimsby Town throw that Clifton takes quickly. Throws it in to McAtee, not McAtee at all. It's Brendan Kiernan who turns and feeds it back to his midfielder Kieran Green. Green to Holohan. Holohan tries to step inside again. Carriol with the defensive challenge. Man on, shouts Ian next to me in the press box. I'm not entirely sure whether Mustafa Carriol would have heard that, but he's won his side of throw-in. Who says he doesn't need a microphone on match days? It's Corian Darber gives it to John Brayford, of course, who's the stadium announcer for home matches. Tom Hamer just about keeps the ball in play over on the far side, but his ball forward is easily cut out by Niall Mayer. Onto the head of John Brayford, who heads it back into Grimsby territory and out for a throw-in again to the home side. The rain really is pouring down now. This is proper FA Cup upset weather. And you know what the upset is here. 0-0 though. 55 minutes on the clock. And Darber heads it away. It's nodded back towards Haber, who nods it down, and then Taylor lifts it forward. Adebayejo can't bring it under control. Hamer picks it up on the far side, gives it to Smith, and now a left-footed ball forward by Taylor. Doesn't quite reach Victor Adebayejo. It's lifted over the top. McAtee's onside according to the linesman on the near side. In the penalty area, slips, and then when he tries to get his shot away, he's on the floor, and it's easily picked up by Jordan Amissa. And that's that high line with the goalkeeper staying back again. That's almost undone Burton Albion.
Yeah, it was a really good run from McAtee. We didn't mention McAtee in the first half really, and I think Albion did well to keep him at bay, because I think he's renowned for being Grimsby's kind of best player and best attacking threat. But in the early stages of this second half, he's been involved a little bit more. So yeah, they've got to go back to try and keeping him quiet.
Ball is with Max Crocombe away to our left-hand side and launches the ball long downfield towards Kiernan. He can't bring the ball under control. That would have been some effort to have brought that under control as it's launched downfield, and it's gone out for a Burton Albion throw. Near side there left, Corian Darber gives the ball to Cameron Borthwick-Jackson to take the throw in. And Joe Powell goes out for a little stretch. Plenty on the bench for the Brewers. Winnell, Keeler, Dunn, Powell. The ball is lifted forward by Clifton, but it's beyond everybody and easily collected by Jordan Amissa. yet to make a save of note. Done some neat work at the near post as he bowls the ball out to Borthwick Jackson near side. He kicks it into touch.
Yeah, Cam's just got to get the ball out of his feet a little bit quicker there with the onrushing Khan coming to close him down. The players haven't got that much time on the pitch, even more so with FA Cup day and the atmosphere, and the lads are tearing around trying to press each other. Just got to do it a little bit quicker.
57 minutes gone, 0-0. BBC Radio Derby, FM, AM and online via BBC Sounds and the BBC Sport website. Efete threatened to take the throw down this near touchline. Now he's going to. No, he's not. He's thrown it into the penalty area. That's good work by Corian Dar, but a half-head it clear. Bobby Cam was back there helping out his defence. It's smashed forward by Corian Dar, but it hits a Grimsby man and eventually goes out for a Burton throw. They're just not able to get out at the moment, Burton Albion. They've not got a foothold in the game in the second half yet. The first half that they dominated but failed to score. Now they're coming under a little bit of pressure. John Brayford with his left foot onto the roof of the main stand. Bounces around on the corrugated iron roof and eventually comes down away to our right hand side. Somebody in a sou'wester. it's sort of that kind of weather now. He may just have come back off one of the trawlers, but he's dressed for it. Efete with the throw in towards the right hand corner of the Burton Albion penalty area. Carriel gets a foot in. Cameron Borthwick Jackson turns and fires the ball into touch for another Grimsby Town throw. 13 minutes gone in the second half, and it's been pretty much all Grimsby so far since the restart. Niall Mayer's come across to the near side to take a long throw, dries the ball in that white towel that was used by Tom Hamer in the first half. Hands it back to one of the trawlermen. And Mayer with the long throw towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Hamer's there with the header. The referee spotted a bit of pushing by a Grimsby player, and it's a free kick to Burton Albion. 0-0. We're a minute away from the hour mark in this tie. Don't forget, replays bizarrely in the third round and fourth round, but not replays after that. Now there's a meeting to do away with replays altogether. I even heard reports of under-21 sides going in the EFL Cup, and they might as well do away with the EFL Cup if that's going to be the case. Clearance from Amissa goes straight into touch on the near side, but Burton have got it back with Adebayo. The ball is played forward by Carriel. It actually hits Adebayo, but it's played forward by Terry Taylor now to Bobby Camworth on the left-hand side, going towards the penalty area onto his right foot, clips it into the edge of the 6-yard box, and it's hooked clear by Grimsby, and they will eventually clear it into touch on the near side. That's the first real opportunity Burton have had in this second half. Can they maintain the pressure? Ball is thrown into Taylor, gives it back to Borthwick Jackson. Now Taylor again in between a couple of Grimsby players, goes back to Corian Darber, who turns and gives it back to Jordan Amissa in the goal away to our right hand side. He goes long, he's taken a little bit off that one. He still managed to reach the edge of the penalty area, but Efete is there to head it away. Taylor picks it up and plays the ball across to the right hand side. It gets caught in the wind. Hamer keeps it in play. It's getting very unpleasant out there now. Here's Taylor giving it to Borthwick Jackson. Now Mustafa Carriel near side, the Burton Albion left. Infield it goes to Osher Larger. Taylor whips it across to the far side. It's got too much on it, and it floats harmlessly into touch for a Grimsby Town throw. Terry Taylor's just gone off the boil since half time.
Yeah, he's surrendered possession on a couple of occasions now, Fletcher. He just needs to get back to just playing simply.
Just doing what he does.
Yeah, start with your 5 and 10 yard passes, build your confidence back up, and then you can go into your more longer range of passing.
Smith gives it to Efete, who goes down this near touchline and gives it to Clifton. Clifton gets it back from Holohan, who tries to put it through Mustafa Carriol's legs, but he's been around too long, Mustafa Carriol, to let him do that. And he gets a block on it and puts it out for a Grimsby Town throw. Efete will take this one close, or level with the edge of the penalty area rather. A very strange mascot who was carrying a fish earlier, no longer has a fish. Ball stayed in play, everybody stopped and eventually Bobby Camworth is judged to have fouled Holohan, and it's a free kick to Grimsby Town. That was absolutely bizarre. The linesman never put his flag up.
No, the pitch stopped, the game went into slow motion. Everyone was expecting the linesman's flag to go up to give the throw in, and all of a sudden the game turned into hump day, the way Bobby Camworth was getting behind McAtee then.
Eventually pushed him to the ground. It's half-time at Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Newcastle United 0. 6 o'clock kick-off there. Khan with the free kick. Keeper Asima comes and then goes back, and Grimsby have the ball inside the penalty area. McAtee with I think it was a shot, but it was a poor shot if it was, and eventually Burton clear it, but it's been picked up by Otis Khan. Khan gives it to Kiernan. Kiernan, edge of the penalty area, shoots between Cameron Borthwick-Jackson's legs, and it's taken at his near post by Jordan Amissa.
I think the conditions of the weather, the pitch, are just taking control of this game at the minute, Fletch. That was really scrappy. Even though it was a nicely flighted ball into the box by Otis Khan, Albion didn't really get any purchase on any of the clearances, and McAtee really scuffs his shot.
The long ball cleared downfield by Amissa is headed away by Efete, who got up above Bobby Camworth, and now the ball's gone back to Crocombe in the goal away to our left-hand side. When he kicks the ball downfield, a huge splash of water comes up, so it's that penalty area was definitely the penalty area to worry about in the first half. The ball's staying in play here, and Cameron Borthwick-Jackson's got to be careful. He's hit it against the Grimsby man, but he's got it back, and now he clears it downfield. It's nicely controlled there by Green, but as he tries to play it forward, it slices off his boot now for a Burton Albion throw. 0-0, 63.5 minutes on the clock, and it's been Grimsby's second half if it was Burton Albion's first. And the pitch is starting to get a little heavy out there. Forward it goes from Terry Taylor into touch on the near side. Sam Winnell collects the ball and will give it to Mitchie Efete on this near side, level with his own penalty area. Grimsby right. Looks like Burton are thinking about another change. Chris Beardsley's just put a hat on. That'll not be much use. Skims off Carriol's head. Forward by Corian Darber. Chance possibly for Victor Adebayo. Stretching but can't hold on to possession. Thought he was being fouled. It's been picked up over on the far side by Danny Amos. Amos, short ball forward to McAtee. McAtee with a bit of space to run into for Grimsby. Plays it to the left-hand side. Kiernan will cut into the penalty area. He's still going. Kiernan, he shoots and it rebounds off a defender and behind for another Grimsby Town corner. The weather, it's not quite as bad as it was at Fleetwood last year when Burton won their FA Cup tie up there, but it's getting that way. Let's hope they can produce a performance to equal the one at Highbury. The corner's been taken. Chance to shoot from distance. Takes a deflection and goes behind for another corner. The shot from Gavin Holohan goes out for a corner on the Grimsby right-hand side this time. Burton under all sorts of pressure in the opening 19-20 minutes of the second half. Home fans are getting right into this cup tie now. The Burton fans, not much to chant about. All the play in the first half was at the far end of the ground, and it is in the second as well. Yeah, it does seem more like a cup time now, Fletch, but that's probably due to Grimsby being at home, having the ascendancy in the game and the fans getting behind them more. So it probably didn't seem like a cup tie in the first half because Burton were on top and they really silenced the crowd, didn't they? Certainly did. Danny Amos is going to take this corner once he can get the ball to stop oscillating in the wind. Almost blowing the corner flag over. If he tried to shoot here. Sent it on its way, and it's a good header by Bobby Camworth inside the 6-yard box. Burton can't quite clear it. There's a Grimsby player gone down. A second one goes down. Lots of appeals from the crowd, but nothing from the players. And Johnny Smith is playing the ball back to Corian Darber, who kicks it off a Grimsby man and out for a Burton Albion throw. Yeah, Burton Albion are playing wind against, and it was a corner in the left back position, right wing position for Grimsby, and it's an in-swinging left-footed corner by Amos, and it just looked perfect, just to try and get that ball underneath the crossbar, just to ask questions of the debutant goalkeeper, and it's a beautifully flighted ball in there with pace, wind helping it as well. Burton Albion managed to defend it well. Ball thrown down the line. Carriol tries to flick it on but can't. Brayford nods it back into Grimsby territory. Efete clears it away. He's sliced in half by Bobby Camworth, who was going for the ball and only had eyes for the ball. Referees rushed across. I'd be surprised if it was red, but the Grimsby players are surrounding Mr. Breakspear, who's blowing his whistle furiously. Crocombe's come an awful long way to point the finger at Bobby Camworth. In fairness to Efete, I was going to say he got up, but he's still down, and the referee's just sending both sets of players away, and will call Bobby Camworth to him, and he could become the first man to go into the referee's notebook. Jonathan Panzo's been sent off for Coventry, and Wrexham have got a fourth from the penalty spot. Paul Mullen, they need 4-1 in the FA Cup, the National League high flyers. The referee just wants to make sure that Efete is okay. He's back to his feet now, and he will be okay. And he's got to book him, hasn't it?
Well, he's only got to book him just because of the reaction. I think it was over the top. I don't think there was too much.
He's gone to his pocket.
Yeah, there wasn't too much contact. Efete's gone down, kind of holding his thigh. There was a collision, but there wasn't much into it. But
he only had eyes for the ball.
If it's right under the noses of the dugout, and the reactions after can make it seem worse. So I think the referee did well not to do anything further, because you never know, do you?
Quite correctly calling Max Crocombe to tell him there's no need for him to race 50 yards to point the finger at Bobby Camworth. He's having a word with Clifton as well, because their reaction was a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper's getting a stern talking to. I don't think that goes down in the stern talking to category. He didn't half point his fingers at Bobby Camworth in a very threatening manner. There's going to be a change. Sam Winnell is stripping off. Good to see Sam Winnell back fit and available for Burton Albion. He's the only free agent who actually signed a contract until the end of the season. So no further speculation about Sam Winnell. Louis Malt's back at the club, of course, having picked up that injury at Motherwell. He's recovering from that, and the loan at Motherwell has been terminated. Free kick taken by Khan, nodded down into the area, hooked away by Oshilaja over on the far side. Holohan nods it forward and crosses it in from the left-hand side. Oshilaja again with the clearing header. Grimsby pick it up once more though. Otis Khan plays it into the penalty area. Left-hand side, shot across the face of goal and wide by Brendan Kiernan, and that is as close as either side has come to scoring. Kiernan couldn't get his shot on target, and it remains 0-0.
Fletch, what a pass from Otis Khan. Every time I mention his name, I always think he probably shouldn't be on a football pitch. He should be on Saturday night with Jules Holland. I can see the name just, he should be playing a saxophone somewhere. But what a pass, it deceived everyone in the stadium. He just gave it the eyes. Lovely reverse pass into Kiernan's path, and he just didn't, I don't think he connected like he wanted. He obviously wanted to shoot a cross goal, but thankfully for Burton Albion and Jordan Amisa on his debut, he just flashes wide of the post. But what a pass.
Midway point of the second half, the closest either side's come really to scoring, to breaking the deadlock here at Blundell Park, and Burton Albion have now made that change, and Sam Winnell has replaced Bobby Camworth. Ball played over the top, looking for the run of the very pacey Johnny Smith, who doesn't get there, but Burton have a corner and a chance to actually create something.
And that's what Burton Albion, they haven't been able to do that. The wind, it looks like it's just slowed down a little bit, and it's taken till the 70th minute to put a real ball with any kind of quality in behind the Grimsby defence, and look, they get a corner from it.
So 20 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Taylor takes the corner from the right-hand side and massively overhits it. It's collected though by Desi Oshilaja, forward to John Brayford, who's come out to support him. Brayford's left on the floor by a challenge. Good cross in, hits a hand, clearly hits a hand, and the referee says play on. Where's VAR when you need it? Well, it's not here, it's at the Premier League grounds for the FA Cup, but not at any of the Football League grounds. Over on the left-hand side, chance for Otis Khan once again, gets the crossing with the left foot. Burton don't deal with it initially. Kiernan tried to bring it under control inside the penalty area, couldn't do so, and it's behind for a goal kick. A couple of the non-playing members of the Grimsby town staff turned it around when we suggested it might have been handball. I don't think they agreed with us. And why would they?
I think it would have been a harsh one. I think it did hit the defender's hand, but it came off his thigh originally, so it would have been harsh.
They don't count. They don't count, actually, in truth. If it hits another part of your body and then goes onto your arm, it doesn't count. Ball cleared downfield by a misser, then played forward by Osher-Larger towards Sam Winnell. The ball is chested down straight to Victor Adeboyejo. The chest came from Kieran Green. Adeboyejo gives it to Tom Hamer. 2 to aim at in the penalty area. Plays it forward to Smith. Gets it back. He's in a really boggy part of the pitch over there on the far side. Tries to get to the byline to cross it in, but can't reach the ball, and it goes behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, difficult area to try and play the way out of there, where Tom Hamer, he showed aggression in wanting to beat his man, but it's probably the wrong decision that he made then, where probably just trying to win a corner or a free kick, kicking it off his marker. I think he should know a little bit better, especially it's him who actually delivers a long throw. So yeah, disappointing for Burton Albion now.
First change of the evening for Grimsby, and it's Brendan Kiernan who's being taken off. Lewis Richardson is going to replace him with 19 on his back. I just wonder how many of the people who are watching this game overseas have regretted not watching Coventry 1, Wrexham 4. And I'll do well to get extended highlights out of this for Match of the Day later on this evening, but they'll be there should you wish to watch them. Taylor nods the ball forward from the clearance. Adeboyejo tries to bring it under control but can't. Holland does. Gives it back to Mayer, who goes long looking for Otis Khan on the left hand side. It's cleared away by the Brewers. Holohan wins the ball back though. Efete inside the centre circle, plays it forward. Hamer says that's mine, heads it forward straight to Holohan, who brings it down on his chest, pokes it forward to the substitute Richardson, takes a couple of touches and then gives it to Green, now wide to the left hand side, back to Otis Khan. Khan crosses it in with his right foot. Goalkeeper comes. If the player in front of him had got a touch, he'd have been in a spot of bother there, Jordan, and miss it, but it goes straight into the bread basket and the danger is over.
Yeah, it was a clever ball. In swinger from left back area with a right foot delivery, and it looked like Corey and Dabba were just going to mop it up and head away, but then when you see that big presence of Amisa coming out to come and gather, and Corey and Dabba backtracking, you think he's just going to lift it over his own goalkeeper, don't you? So he must have given him a real big shout and clear.
Victor Adeboyejo into the penalty area at the other end, tries to find Sam Winnell but can't. It's cleared away and Darber nods it down. Taylor tries to chest pass it and eventually finds Deji Osher-Larger wide to the right hand side, and Johnny Smith infield to Adeboyejo, tries to give it back to Johnny Smith, but the ball holds up in the Cleethorpes sand on the far side of the ground and is booted into touch for a Burton Albion long throw. Rain is just easing off a touch at the moment, which is probably good news for everybody.
Yeah, defenders are able to clear the ball properly now. It's not we said 15-20 minutes ago the weather dominated the game, where now it's back to the football.
Throwing taken short to Borthwick Jackson, crosses it in towards the far post with his left foot from the right hand side. Crocombe comes and claims and then launches the ball downfield. Chance for McAtee to run. The ball almost holds up in the water there on the edge of the penalty area, but fortunately it had enough on it for Amisa to come out of his penalty area to clear it long downfield. Grimsby have gone crossfield and it's been picked up by Clifton on the right hand side. Efete's gone on the run down the right and he picks him out. Across comes Borthwick Jackson to shut him down. The shot comes in from distance, takes the deflection, and Grimsby have the lead. Harry Clifton with the shot. It took a deflection and beat the goalkeeper at the near post. That is not what Burton Albion wanted. With 15 minutes to go, they trail at Grimsby in the FA Cup by 1-0.
And from this second half performance, Fletcher, if you were to predict anyone to score related to performance, you would say Grimsby. They've been asking questions of this Burton Albion team and defence, and this time they've got rewards in another swift attack, similar to first half when they tried to counter-attack. They played from left to right with a diagonal pass, and that's what pass led to this goal. And obviously gutting for Jordan Amisa on his debut, where he had no chance with that, with a deflection in conditions like this. 1-0 to Grimsby.
I think McAtee's just applauding his goalkeeper Crocombe, because it was his clearance, wasn't it, downfield, that set the opportunity up.
It was a great kick, and then you're looking at the pitch and the conditions and the weather. it looked like Amisa was going to just get there easily, but then it just seemed to slow in whether it was a puddle or a bit of mud.
Corian Darber has some work to do to clear it and can only slice it into touch on the near side. Clifton's been credited officially with the goal, but it definitely took a deflection on its way in, I think, possibly off another Grimsby player. Grimsby looking for their 3rd League One scalp. Plymouth and Cambridge have already perished in the FA Cup here at Blundell Park, and Burton Albion, as things stand, are heading the same way. And in this second half, they've rarely been in the game, as Grimsby have pinned them into their own half of the field. They're going to need to produce something here, the Brewers, to get back in this one. Replays, remember, in rounds 3 and 4, and Burton would probably settle for a replay at this moment in time. Must have a carry-on, dispossessed. Ball goes through and it'll be picked up, well, it won't be picked up by Amisa, who clears it long downfield, straight onto the head of Kieran Green. Back comes Victor Adebayejo to win the ball back from Otis Khan, and now Johnny Smith has it, wide on the right-hand side. Cuts in field, still going Johnny Smith. Feeds the ball to Osher-Larger, who goes further wide to the left, and Carriol. He gives it to Borthwick Jackson. Now it goes back to Corian Darber, 10 yards inside his own half. Crossfield to John Brayford. Brayford takes a couple of touches, gets up to halfway and then goes long, but it's too straight. Mustafa Carriol was never going to get there, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Albion are going to have to dig deep to try and get back into this game, whether it's that with the personnel on the pitch, or Dino and Chris Beardsley are in constant contact in that dugout area. Where is it going to be a change that leads to Burton Albion getting back in this game? But they need something. And
Davis Keeler done
really quickly.
Warming up. Joe Powell warming up as well away to our left-hand side. Maybe a couple of likely candidates. And Darber with an initial header. The ball is headed straight back to him. He heads it away for a second time. Now Hamer with his left foot just hoofs it high into the night sky here in Cleethorpes. Grimsby have it back once again. You can see the confidence coursing through the Grimsby players' veins as the ball is clipped into the penalty area, right the way across and behind for another goal kick. But the confidence that goal has given Grimsby, as if they needed it because they've been on top, you can see it.
Yeah, definitely, Fletch. They've got the kind of swing in the step. They're trying to move the ball swiftly, confidently, and then that was another slide rule pass down the side of Burton Albion's defence just to set Kiernan away.
Let's hope my voice holds up. Otherwise you're doing the whole thing by yourself.
You'll have to twist my mic again then.
Anytime. Corian Darber with a little header finds Borthwick Jackson. Now Mustafa Carriol. He'll have to cough again. Osher-Larger with the crossfield ball finds Johnny Smith on the right-hand side. Smith goes to the byline, tries to cross it in, does cross it in. Half a chance for Adebayejo and Winnell. They're rather got in each other's way there. And Grimsby clear it, and Darber nods it down. Borthwick Jackson picks up and finds Carriol wide on the left-hand side. Goes infield a little bit, crosses it in with his right foot, takes a big deflection, and is easily headed away by Grimsby once again. Here's Richardson trying to get the better of Darber, and Darber got a touch on it. Brayford gives it back to Amisa. He just holds his arms out and says, who do I pass it to? He passes it to Cameron Borthwick Jackson. Infield to Terry Taylor. Taylor clips it forward into the outside left channel, but I think that's going to roll all the way behind for a goal kick. It does.
Yeah, it's too straight of a pass by Terry there, where he was in a high position himself, and to try and clip that in behind the defence and keep it on the pitches, especially with how wet the pitch is, a really difficult kind of technique and a pass to pull off.
West Ham have taken the lead at Brentford. Saeed Benrahma with the goal at the Community Stadium. Coventry have pulled one back. They trail Wrexham by 4 goals to 2 at the Building Society Stadium, and it's Luton 1, Wigan 1. Still Sheffield United 0, Newcastle 0. Early stages of the second half there in the 6 o'clock kickoff here at Grimsby on BBC Radio Derby. Lead Burton Albion by a goal to 0, and we're running out of time. 9 minutes plus stoppage time left to play in Cleethorpes as the ball is taken down the left-hand side by Danny Amos. He's dispossessed by Johnny Smith, but we don't want Johnny Smith in that kind of area, really. He needs to be up the field. He clips it forward, looking for Sam Winnell, tries to chest pass it infield. It's brought under control by Holohan, and Holohan down the left-hand side, cuts infield. He's inside the penalty area. Holland pulls it back to the edge of the box. Great block there by Deji Oshalaja. Chance for McAtee. Good save down to his left by Amisa, and it had to be. What a block by Deji Oshalaja in the first place, and Amisa makes the comfortable save.
It's a fantastic block by Deji Oshalaja then.
The ball is played towards Mustafa Carriel but doesn't reach him. Terry Taylor is wrong-footed and then commits the foul, slams his hand onto the floor in frustration. It's a free kick to Grimsby, and we're going to see Davis Keeler-Dunn very shortly indeed as he strips off in the Burton Albion technical area. He's not going to have much time to impress or to get that goal, which will earn what would be a replay at this stage for Burton Albion. Grimsby about to send on Bryn Morris. You know what happens when former players play against you. And Bryn Morris is going to come on fairly shortly. The free kick is taken by Otis Khan. Holds up in the wind. It's half cleared. Taylor will pick it up and launch it forward, asking Victor Adebayejo to chase it. He does so willingly. Almost wins it back as well. Can't quite do so as Grimsby play it down the line and into touch on the near side for another Burton throw, and here comes the next change.
We just mentioned the confidence that Grimsby are playing with now. They've got that goal, and what a run that was up on the left wing by Holohan. There was a jink, a twist, a turn, and even it finished with a nutmeg on Tom Hamer, and he just beautifully just pulls it back with quality just to give his teammate the perfect opportunity to get that shot across. But again, with no real conviction, letting the Misa make a comfortable save down to low to his left.
Bryn Morris is going to replace Otis Khan, who's had a terrific game for Grimsby. Makes his way off from the far side, and we're also going to see the introduction of Danilo Orsi, and he's going to replace John McAtee. Is Danilo Orsi.
I must have been right, Fletcher, and they brought him off early so he can get to the Jules Holland show.
Burton have made a change as well, and Cameron Buffett-Jackson has been sacrificed from the defence, and Davis Keeler-Dunn has come on in a bid to try to get a goal back for the Brewers. So we're in possession at the back with Amisa. Clears it long downfield, but straight onto a Grimsby defender's head. Coming back from an offside position also. Orsi leaves it alone. It goes out for a throw-in on the far side. Taylor gives it back to Hamer. Hamer down that far side, the Burton right. Only reaches Amos, who clips it forward. Brayford with a header. Hooked forward by Terry Taylor. Fete over the top. A chance here for Orsi. He's come a long way as the goalkeeper. He's done well. Has he gone out of his penalty area? Well, he's been kicked by Orsi, and he's not very happy about it either. Is Amisa. There were claims that he might have slipped. Oh, he's been booked. On his debut, he's been booked. For what? His reaction, presumably, to Orsi kicking him, but Jordan Amisa is booked on his Burton debut with 5 minutes to go, and the Brewers trailing by a goal to nil. Sheffield Wednesday have taken the lead. Josh Windass has scored for them. They lead Newcastle by a goal to nil at Hillsborough. Corrie and Darber desperate for the ball, but Amisa ignores him and says, "Get forward."
Yeah, that was a strange one, Fletcher. Amisa showed good aggressive goalkeeping. Like I said, he's quick off the mark. Did well to get to that ball. He actually wins a free kick, and he's the one who gets booked.
That was bizarre, wasn't it? And Darber plays it back to Amisa. He clears it downfield. Johnny Smith can't bring it under control. There's a tug on the shirt by Deji Oshalaja, and that's a free kick to Grimsby, and none of this is doing Burton Albion any good at all. 5,447 this evening's attendance, with 355 in the away end. They haven't had much to cheer about in this second half after a promising first half. So 5-4-4-7. Free kick to Grimsby. Ball launched to the edge of the penalty area on this near side. Everybody ducks underneath it. The ball goes out. after a Burton Albion throw in their left back position, which is no good to them at all. Coventry are now only 4-3 behind against Wrexham. Throw in taken. Hammered forward by Corey and Darber. Gets all the way through to Victor Adebayo. Chances here as he gives it to Johnny Smith on the right hand side. Yellow shirt streaming forward. Johnny Smith just chops on the ball. Plays it to the edge of the area. Into the box from Davis Keeler-Dunn. Ifete clears it away into the sky. And it's headed away, further away by Bryn Morris. Picked up on this near side. Across comes Davis Keeler-Dunn. Gets a block in and it's out for a Grimsby throw. Good work from Clifton getting back there, or getting away down the right hand side, but excellent work from Davis Keeler-Dunn. Ifete will take the throw in. Referee's telling him to get on with it. 3 minutes plus stoppage time left here at Blundell Park. Ifete with the throw down this near side. Clifton flicks it on for Orsi. Orsi holds it up and then it's played forward and it's just cut out there by John Brayford as Lewis Richardson threatened to get in. Adebayo can't bring it under control. Richardson's offside, so Corey and Darber will clear it long downfield. Ifete with a backward header, that was dangerous. The ball is bobbling around in midfield.
That last attack from Albion Fetch, it's a position where if Johnny Smith was able to choose where he wants to receive the ball, I'm sure it would be in that position. And we know he's left-footed on the right wing, but probably that was one attempt where he had to go on the outside with him.
He's got it again on his left foot, cuts across the penalty area, then shoots high onto the roof of the stand which is housing the Burton Albion travelling support.
Yeah, we know he wants to get on his left foot like he just did in this different attack, but I think that the original attempt to get at his man was to drive to the byline. Just when he checks back, he just slows people's movements and runs into the box, and where you just have to, you don't want to go in an offside position and then you have to kind of change your runs, and it kind of yeah, it's probably the most frustrating for centre forwards when wingers do check back or cut in and don't deliver earlier.
Crocombe taking as much time as he possibly can to take this goal kick. Eventually launches the ball long downfield. We've got about 1 minute and 15 seconds of normal time to play, and Darber heads it for Carriot. He hooks it around the corner. Winnell is beaten in the air. It's picked up in midfield though by Richardson. Richardson going across to the far side, chased by Terry Taylor, and Taylor slips and Richardson carries on going towards the left hand corner of the penalty area. Davis Keeler-Dunn's there as well. He crosses it in with his left foot. Player goes down, shot comes in and is blocked. The man who went down was Bryn Morris. Referee says play on and Clifton has it. Plays it forward down the right hand side for Holohan. Holohan goes to the corner flag. Plays it off the Burton Albion player Deji Oshilaja from behind for a corner.
Yeah, big appeals for a penalty from the Grimsby crowd there. I'm not. It happened so quickly. I'm not sure if it actually was, but the Grimsby players seemed a little bit incensed by it, and yeah, we haven't got replays to look back on it, Fletch.
Corner right hand side. This one's not going in the penalty area. There's nobody in a black and white shirt in there, and they eventually get themselves a goal kick. Burton. The referee, or the fourth official rather, is about to show us how much added time there will be, and it's 4 added minutes at the end of the game. So Burton have got 4 minutes to save their FA Cup campaign for the season. Ball cleared long downfield by Amissa, headed forward and then away by Ndaba, helped on by Deji Oshilaja, but Victor Adebayo can't bring that one under control, and it's cleared up towards halfway. Taylor heads it forward. Keeler-Dunn rises, can't get there. Taylor does, and then it's hammered forward. Referee says it was a foul by Taylor inside the centre circle. Free kick to Grimsby Town with 3.5 minutes of added time left at the end of this one. Grimsby leading by a goal to 0 on BBC Radio Derby. Tomorrow afternoon, Derby County take on Barnsley in a 12:30 kick-off. All the build-up from Pride Park from 11:30. We'll have reaction from Dino Marmria no matter what happens in the next 3 minutes or so. Ball ricochets off a Grimsby player. They then take it away with them. It's Bryn Morris who gets pushed, and now he's going to get booked for his troubles, Bryn Morris, for taking the ball away. That might add another 30 seconds on, who knows. Deji Oshilaja with the throw-in on the left-hand side for Burton Albion. He's midway inside his own half. Needs to get as much distance on this as he possibly can. Efete clears it away. Forward it goes from Oshilaja. Headed on there by Sam Winnell. The offside flag goes up against Victor Adebayo. And that'll be a free kick to Grimsby Town. 90 seconds of the 4 additional minutes have been played. Burton are heading out of the FA Cup.
Albion just can't get going. The game's turned into a stop-start game in the last 6 or 7 minutes, and for Grimsby, perfect situation, 1-0 up later on in the game. That's how they want it. They want to slow the game down, commit fouls, get the ball in the corner. Burton Albion just aren't able just to pass with any real quality. They're a little bit rushed. Can they just get themselves one more chance?
Keeler Dunn plays it forward. It's not collected by either Johnny Smith or Victor Adebayo, and it's with Lewis Richardson over on the far side. He gives it back to Danny Amos. Forward to Richardson, who goes to ground. Throw in, says the linesman and referee in unison. It's a throw in to Grimsby. Absolutely no hurry to take it. 90 seconds of stoppage time, and then we're at the mercy of the referee. Is there going to be one chance for Burton? You would say not on the balance of play in the second half. Hard to see where another chance is going to come from. Forward by Corrie and Ndaba, but Grimsby have it back again. Excellent work from Ndaba to get his head to the ball, and it's hit off him by Bryn Morris and out for a Grimsby Town throw on the near side. And we're into the final 60 seconds of added time at the end of this one. Burton are in the wrong half of the field. Clifton is going to take the throw and just checks with the referee exactly where he should take it. And then he gives it to Efete, who'll check with the referee exactly where he should take it. And now we've got less than 40 seconds of stoppage time to go. Ball is headed away by Deji Oshilaja. Davis Keeler-Dunn is back helping his defence. Winnell goes down. Ball is hacked forward. It's a free kick to Burton. This one needs to go long, and we've got just the man to kick it long, Jordan Amisa. This boy can kick a ball a long way.
Yeah, Jordan Amisa needs to show his strength and his quality in his length of kick now, because I think this is going to be Burton Albion's last attempt to get anywhere near the Grimsby goal.
Amisa launches it long towards the edge of the Grimsby penalty area. Half headed away. Davis Keeler-Dunn nods it back towards the penalty area, but the referee spotted an infringement. It's a free kick to Grimsby, and that will surely be that. We've played more than 4 minutes of added time now, so even adding some on for a bit of extra time wasting, Grimsby Town are going to win this one by a 1-0. The only goal of the game scored. Well, it's been changed now to Lewis Richardson with a Harry Clifton assist, so it must have come off. I said it had come off somebody. It deflected off Lewis Richardson and into the back of the net. When this free kick is taken by Max Crocombe, the referee will blow his whistle, and Burton Albion's hopes of a second appearance in the 4th round of the FA Cup are over. The players look dejected, as well they might. It was a poor second half performance really from Burton. The Brewers supporters, some of them are leaving, some of them have stayed. The players will go and thank them for coming. I'm absolutely certain of that, as Grimsby celebrate on the pitch. And Burton Albion, thanks to that deflected goal from Lewis Richardson from the Harry Clifton shot, going into the 4th round. It was a disappointing second half though, Aaron, wasn't it? Such a disappointing second half.
Yeah, after dominating proceedings more so in the first 45 minutes, Albion never really got going in the second half, and it started how the second half started how Albion started the first half. It's a ball in the channel, you win throw-ins in dangerous areas, you win consecutive corners. That got the wind in the sails of Grimsby Town, and all of a sudden the fans were behind them, and it just made it a tougher task for Albion to kind of keep them at bay and keep the ball out of net, but as well to dominate the ball again, and or even fashion their own kind of chances to score their own goals. So Grimsby better performance by them in the second half, and Albion just weren't able to get going.
Well, having beaten Cambridge and Plymouth, they've now added Burton Albion to that list of League One sides that they've knocked out of the FA Cup this season. The Burton Albion supporters, half I would suggest, have stayed as the Burton players and Dino Marmara and the backroom staff go and applaud away to our left-hand side. But it's a testing time to be a Burton Albion fan at the moment. 5-0 on New Year's Day. Now they've been knocked out of the FA Cup by League Two Grimsby. Lewis Richardson with the only goal of the game. It's finished at Blundell Park. Grimsby Town 1, Burton Albion 0.